So, if you're a One Punch Man fan, then you must have seen the latest chapter, chapter 133, where Jonas got a huge upgrade with his Blue Dragon mode. If you haven't seen it, then see it in my description. There's a link. You can go see the chapter first. I really love this fact that Jonas got a new upgrade. He was always a great character design, great backstory, great personality. Everything was great about it, but his power. I mean, he always gets beaten up, and Saitama has to save the day. But that is his part. But because it will repeat again. So after 10 seconds, he will get beaten up, and Saitama will save him. But I really love that he got these 10 seconds. There is a very nice speed feed. Okay, it's kind of hidden, and it was Tinku Watchman 2000 who noticed it. So when Tatsumaki pierces one of, sorry, when Psycho Orochi pierces one of Tatsumaki's hand, it draws blood, and then she pierces her second hand, and the blood from first hand is in the same place. So that denotes how less of a time has actually passed by her since she first pierces her hand and then does the second time. Then we have Psychorochi regenerating a huge portion of herself, and then Geno shoots his beam, which travels from the ground to the top several kilometer tower, deflects Psychorochi's attack, and the beams fly past her to reach the atmosphere, explode, and Genos reaches pretty much to the top of the tower, charges his next shot, and then we get to see Tatsumaki blade is still around the same level of height, maybe slightly lower. So this is a really awesome description of how to actually portray speed. Murata God gave a really good subtext to us to explain how fast the characters are. The only thing that bugs me is Psycho Orochi can speak the whole sentence in less than a second. Actually, in anime, there's always that part where, in less than fraction of a second, anime characters are able to react, talk, understand, and then form a sentence and then talk again. But that is not the point. So let's talk about durability. We have Genos, who with his new 10 seconds mode is 10 seconds because, well, his body can't handle that power, so it will be torn apart. Actually, his body is made of metal. He's a cyborg, and we don't know what metal they are using. But no matter how far they are in science, it is not. They have not made a metal durable enough to handle that power. None of the cyborgs are that powerful. Country bursting or even island level maybe. I don't think I have seen a robot that powerful. Just to be clear, I meant a robot in One Punch Man. Don't just pick someone from Marvel and say, okay, we have someone that powerful. On a side note, is there anyone out there who finds that Doctor of is creepy? I mean, I always get the feeling when he shows up in a panel that he's the main villain inside Genos' life and would be the last boss or something. And most likely, Genos would have a self-destruct button inside him somewhere, like a hostage. Really not sure how that's gonna go down, but it's an interesting theory that I really like. Although it's very generic, but I still love it. If you feel the same way and you think that Doctor is creepy, then do post a comment and please subscribe. If you don't think the same, then just subscribe. Now to the main question, how strong is Genos? To answer that, we must know how strong is Psycho Orochi, whom he is fighting against. So we have very nice calculations from versus Battle Wiki that easily puts her in multi-continental range. I mean, Tatsumaki and Psycho Orochi are there, but Genos is not that strong. He was barely able to deflect her blast, but he's still strong. Okay. And if you haven't seen versus Battle Wiki, then there's a link in description. You should go see it. It is one of the most reliable wiki. 60 to 80% of the time it is correct. So if you like power scaling and stuff, then you should totally go see it. Frankly, 3 years prior to this, if I had known that I could calculate damage from anime blast from anime characters, and everything. I would have taken physics as my graduation course, but let's not talk about that. There's one more thing you should know about Psycho-Orochi. Actually, this is debatable, very debatable. Are the beams from chapter 130 is the beam from one chapter 132 is stronger than the beams from one chapter 133? The thing is, I believe that the beam from chapter 132 was very uh, it has less density than the beams in chapter 133. It was her first time she was firing a beam, uncontrollable power, and in chapter 133 she showed some good control on her power, you know. So personally, I believe the beams from 133rd are stronger than 132nd because they have more density, are more concentrated, are more aimed, and more deadly. But if we go by level of destruction, then chapter 132 will show more destruction because it was that uncontrollable. It's like when Goku versus Beerus, when Goku's power were uncontrollable, they were able to destroy the universe just by fighting with Beerus. But then he controlled that power. That does not mean he got weaker, that his level of attack was not universal anymore. It's just it was much more controlled. And why would Psycho Orochi even destroy Earth? Actually, she wants to keep Earth as it is so she can absorb it and get more powerful. So it would make sense that she's not causing much damage to it and trying to, not erase it. Because everything there is will be part of her power. It kind of reminds me of Kaguya and her nursery thing. She didn't want to fight in her nursery. So she took Naruto and Sasuke to her dimension. But this is my belief. It doesn't have to be 100% right, but I'm not saying it's wrong until I hear a counter argument that is that actually makes sense. So back to Genos. He himself says that he's powerful enough to pulverize a meteor, a large meteor. We don't know which meteor he's talking about, but we take it he's talking about the one over Z city that Saitama punched through. So that power alone puts him higher than the amount of power Saitama showed when he destroyed the meteor. Not saying he's stronger than Saitama, just that if Saitama showed 10 units of his power then Genos right now might be 12 to 15 units. Moving on, we have seen Genos beam. Okay, that is weird. But so, right, we see Genos deflect a beam from Psycho Orochi. That does not mean he's as strong as Psycho Orochi, but he's not far too behind either. If you have ever been in a street fight, ever, then if your arm strength is weaker than your opponent, you feel the weight of their attack. You always feel that weight. If your hand is much weaker, then it would get sword aside. If there's not much of a difference, you can deflect by throwing some weight. But sometimes it also happens that you're in a fight and your whole weight is concentrated on the person you're beating, and someone from the side can actually push you aside very easily because you're not careful. That might be the case here. So it confuses me that this is done by power or some kind of body mechanic supply. So I can say for 100% sure it's like that. But I believe you need some similar amount of strength, if not equal, but similar amount of strength to deflect something like that. And that would put Genos easily at continental level. Okay, and that is really, really strong. We have more and more One Punch Man character getting stronger, and especially more and more stronger villains are coming out. It's usually hard to, there was Vaccine Man, and some say he was really strong, but he was, and Kabuto, okay, he was really strong too, but they all got one shot by Saitama. So we will never be sure how strong, and it's really great how, you know character villains like these are coming forward, and Karu will be getting a new and huge upgrade. Awakened Karu would be awesome, and I can see how Murata draws him. For now, till next month, We have Genesis continental level, and I would love to make another video for upgrade if Genos gets an upgrade. So I guess that's it. And I would really love a feedback. It was my first time making a video like this with my voice over it. I just got my new microphone and it's not working well. There's too much noise, background noise. If anyone has any idea how this edits or software, please advise. I would really love some advices. Please help me make this better. And yeah, do subscribe. Please, just subscribe. I need a PS5. I need to earn some money so that I can get a PS5, and I absolutely need the OLED. So please help me here.